Hi everybody, welcome to Dorrien Gardens for the final round of the regular season in the men's NPL1 here in the West as Perth Soccer Club host Balcatta in round 22 action. Thanks for joining me this afternoon on the Football West Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, wherever you may be viewing us around Australia or the world. My name's Tommy Dolman. It's a pleasure to be here slightly north of Perth CBD with a make-up of the season all but complete in principle. Classy touch on your screens just as the players entered the pitch as Balcatta set a guard of honour to Perth Soccer Club, who are the champions of the NPL1 in season 2021. Stay tuned after the game. The completion of it, Perth will be presented with their trophy. 5 other games across the division aside from this one here. The big game in the race for the remaining top 4 cup spots sees Perth Glory host Inglewood in a clash between 4th and 5th. A draw enough for the Glory, while Inglewood have to win to extend their campaign. We'll bring you action from around the grounds as and when we can get some access to the scores. The referee today out in the middle is Stuart Beattie, and he'll be assisted by Kaylee Ormerod and Liam Barkley. So just about to get started here at Dorrien Gardens. It's the annual Ferrari Cup match between Perth and Balcatta here. A day of celebration for both in essence, with Perth's championship champagne on ice and Balcatta's status secure in the NPL for 2022. But there's still the small matter of an Italian derby here at the home of the champions to finish the year. Round 22 action kicking off on your Saturday afternoon. Balcatta from the left to the right of your screen wearing their traditional navy blue kit with the red trim, and the Azzurri Perth Soccer Club from the right to the left of your screen wearing their traditional sky blue jerseys with the white shorts. It'll be an early goal kick for Ryan Montgomery. And he plays out to Jordan DeLeo. Good to see Perth skipper back in the starting lineup this afternoon. Just the 2 appearances before today, having picked up a serious knee injury earlier in the campaign. Very frustrating that he wasn't able to play a part of what has been a successful campaign for Perth, but I'm sure he'll be a very capable player of making his mark, perhaps in the final 2 games to come, if they do have 2, that is. Tackle snapping in there, and then Montgomery has to clear long and wide up the field. Balcatta will have a throw in over on that far side. O'Connell tried to head back into the path of Nick Walsh, but ball crossed the line over on the far side. As Calvin Whitney playing out of trouble. Pass was a dangerous one for the moment and rushed upfield in the end, but no dramas as it turned out. As Aidan Formston cleared upfield and free kick was awarded in midfield. Perth take it quickly and look to get on the front foot again. Here's DeLeo, who's been busy and involved in the action earlier. The clip over the top for the run of Yagoub Mustafa. One-on-one with Walsh. Mustafa into the area, cleared away by Christian Yankilovsky. Here's Elliot Tattersall. Ball pinched off him by Jaden Gorman, who retreats back to Formston, and upfield it goes. So as we touched on in the build-up before, Perth League champions for the 24th time in the semi-professional Premier League. They've won their way to the title off the back of a 5-game winning streak. And that win streak stretches even further to 11 unbeaten. In fact, their last defeat of this campaign was against Balcatta at Grindleford Reserve. It was a result which, at the time, put them in a little bit of a mid-season slump, and they find themselves 10 points behind Florida Athena at that stage, but they've made a remarkable comeback since then as O'Connell steals forward. Ball was allowed to run all the way through for Tattersall, who was possibly deceived by Formston missing it. Balcatta still on the front foot here. Tattersall charges down the clearance, and it'll be a Perth throw in the defensive half of the pitch. Just back on that result from round 11, it was goals from Kamala Joffre, Dave Perrich and Amir Rayan, which give Balcatta a 3-0 win that afternoon. Since that stage, it's been 8 wins and 2 draws for the Azzurri. Radinovic for Whitney. A little bit of space out wide here for Will Gordon. He'll play up the line to the pacey Jaden Gorman, who skips inside Yankolowski. Gorman's curler. Good save from Medica. Mustafa with the follow-up cross. Yankolowski has to head away again. Whitney tries his luck on the volley. Oh, goodness me, that would have been a scorching start for Perth. And it draws a round of applause from the crowd. He's certainly had an eye for goal this season, Calvin Whitney, a key contributor in the midfield for Perth. Very capable of a long-distance strike as well. We saw one earlier in the campaign from just in front of halfway when he lobbed Josiah Godfrey from the halfway line on a really wet and windy afternoon at Inglewood Stadium. 9 goals for the campaign for the former Florida Athena, Perth Soccer Club and Melbourne Knights midfielder. He's Cornish looking to spring Balcatta onto the attack now. Poke forward by Tattersall. Amir Ayan will give chase. Radinovic shows a cool head though and manages to get it upfield, but only as far as Cornish. Not sure if Ayan's onside here or not. He is onside, and Radinovic once again has to slide in and defuse the danger. Good early tempo to this one. Both teams perhaps playing with a leash off and under no real pressure, given Perth have already wrapped up their title and Balcatta have maintained their status in the NPL for season 2022. Been a really good comeback. For Balcatta in the back half of the season. They've gone 4 unbeaten coming into this game at a time when it's mattered most in the season. Rockingham with back-to-back wins, putting them under the pressure, but Michael Johnson, former Sorrento assistant's come in for the final 7 games and he's done a pretty good job in truth, and that's meant that he'll be maintaining charge of the side for season 2022. Announced by Balcatta earlier in the week that he and Carl Medica, who have guided the club to safety, will continue on their role in season 2022. Club statement on social media said that the task was to stay up, and that has been achieved with a game to go. So a successful one in terms of reaching that objective late in the season. It should be said that Perth also announced some surprise coaching news, it's fair to say, earlier in the week. The Azzurri on Tuesday announced that they'd be parting ways with their successful head coach Roman Falzone at the end of the season. Certainly some news which caught many off guard among the WA football community. Coach who has guided Perth Soccer Club to 4 titles in 6 years. Including league and top 4 doubles in 2016, 2018 and 2019. Falzone will be no doubt looking to end the regular season here on a high, and of course they do have the top 4 cup to aim for as well. One of the Azzurri's most successful coaches in their history with 4 league titles. Some great names in WA football, the likes of Gary Marocchi and Graham Normanton guiding the Azzurri to 3 league titles. So a remarkable achievement, and what a way for the coach to part ways at the end of 2021 as Santic whips over a lovely crossfield ball to Mustafa, who looks to come in board. Arriving on the scene's DeLeo. Calvin Whitney has the ball at feet. Little feedback for DeLeo, who continued his run forward. He just tried to help that back in the middle, but couldn't wrap his foot around the ball well enough. Goal kick will be taken by young Sebastian Madzika. Young goalkeeper who's been part of the club since the NPL era started. Started last week in place of Luis Italiano, and getting another opportunity this week in between the sticks. Here's his opposite number, Ryan Montgomery. Jankulowski, little turn around the corner from O'Connell. It was inventive and it was nice as well. And now Scafetera's broken down. O'Connell continued his run. It may fall for a yarn. It's a real battle of legs in the penalty area though, and Santic will spin with a lovely piece of composure and pull Perth clear of any danger at the back. Lovely player is Christian Santic, player who's made a real difference to the Azzurri midfield this season. Having left Perth at the end of 2019 to chase an opportunity in Victoria. Didn't quite work out, unfortunately, given the circumstances surrounded COVID-19 last year. Ended up coming back to WA and playing for Cockburn City, where he almost guided Scott Miller's team to a surprise title chase. They finished second overall behind ECU Joondalup, who won under Kenny Lowe on the final day of the 2020 season. Here he is again. Santic placing the ball and getting set to whip in an in-swinging corner. Aimed in deep towards the back post. It was Jankulowski who got his head to it. Cornice should get to the ball first. Now he's got Amir Ayan in a little bit of space further ahead. And if he can keep this in, he's possibly off and away to the races. But it was a good recovery run from DeLeo to get back. Still with Ayan. Lovely switch of the play for Tattersall. Balcatta with a couple of numbers forward. And in the end, the sky blue jersey swarmed around the former Joondalup United player and snuffed out the danger. Tattersall, also a former Perth Soccer Club player as well. A player who netted a late equaliser as Balcatta came from 2 goals down to draw 2-2 at home to Sorrento, which was a result that arguably started their run in the race for survival. Michael Johnson's team taking plenty of confidence from that point. A win in the relegation 6-pointer with Rockingham followed, and then draws against top 4 chasing Inglewood, and Perth Glory came after that. Whitney. Little spin around the corner, cut out by O'Connell. Anthony Tapini tried to pick out Tattersall with the diagonal. Still might be here for Balcatta. Good sliding challenge from Cornice. Whitney, though, was able to steal in, and then the release on the outside of the boot was for Domfey. Those two combined brilliantly throughout the season. Domfey will check back for Gordon. Looks to interchange passes with Whitney, but pressure was good from Balcatta. And now they'll look to launch forward again. That's a great ball from Tapini to release Ayan. He's got no support in the middle whatsoever, so has to go it alone. And in the end, DeLeo comes across and snuffs out any possibility of Ayan getting on to his little drawback inside. Scafetta. Lovely move from the youngster here. Last touch was off a Perth player. Radinovic opts to keep it alive rather than risk Montgomery picking up the ball. And now Perth will try and counter now. Whitney's release was looking for Domfey. It was helped on for Gorman, who arrived late on the scene. Sliding in with a good challenge there was Tapini. Player who's predominantly played in midfield whenever I've seen him over the NPL1 era. Long-serving player at the club. Good passer of the ball, though, so Balcatta perhaps trying something in terms of looking to utilise that ball-playing centre-back this afternoon. Cornish was going to put the ball out here for Jaden Gorman, who's still down over on that far side after that early challenge with Tapini. It looks as though he's holding his hamstring from back here. Trainer will go and attend to Gorman straight away, and the signal's already been made for a substitute. So this is sad news for Jaden Gorman, who's been a real live wire in the back end of the season, a player who missed the first half of the campaign with injury and came in and really gave the Azzurri that spark. He's opened the scoring in 3 straight games throughout this winning streak at the back end of the campaign, and unfortunately he's going to make way, and he's limping off rather slowly, and one can only hope that that's nothing too serious and that's not his season over. They're always a tricky one to medically consider, the hamstrings. Coming on in his place is Alex Silla. So that may mean a slight reshuffle. Silla, of course, a virtual ever-present in the Azzurri defence, famous for that Top 4 Cup final winner in 2019 over at Inglewood Stadium. 18 appearances and a goal this season. Sancic. Ball out wide for Gordon. Ball took an awkward bounce off the surface. Tattersall converged on by 3 Perth players, still fighting for it, the Balcatta number 11, and then Whitney was closed down by Scafetta and gave away the free kick. So it looks as though Jordan DeLeo's come into the centre of defence. Silla's gone to right back, and perhaps Aidan Formston will stay at left back. Meanwhile, Cornish will try and surge his way into the area. It was hooked over his shoulder and away by Radinovic. Silla gets his head to the ball, and Mir Ayan was working back well. Silla continued, though, and the ball broke his way. Now Whitney. Spinning pass out wide. Might stay in for Domfey here. Who'll give chase. No. Domfey did run out of real estate, and Balcatta will get a settling goal kick. Whitney. Santich. Gordon in space, wide. Comes inside. Trying to return to Whitney instead. It was intercepted by Balcatta's defence. O'Connell poked out wide, hoping that a teammate would be there. Instead, possession's turned over. Santich will drive one. O'Connell will step in. Whitney with his back to goal, stood up by Cornice. Pass out wide, searching for Silla. Mustafa will try his luck from range, and that will hit the net behind the goal. No need for any Perth official to race over the brick wall and chase that ball down. Domfey battling with Yankolowski. Still going Michael Domfey. The pull back from Mustafa. On for Calvin Whitney, who just got modelled up with Silla. Silla now plays for Whitney to strike, and the midfielder was slightly off balance as he hit that strike on goal. Little lapse in communication there possibly between teammates as two players converged on that Mustafa layoff. Mustafa looking to link up with Domfey. Still going Yagoub Mustafa, and Medika just swings a boot at it and gets it out and as far away as possible. A little scoop into touch. Ayan. Nick Walsh getting forward from full-back. Ball played forward for Scafetta, who looked way offside, and official Liam Barkley agrees. So the numbers in season 2021 quite brilliant for Perth in all truth. When you look back at what they've achieved since being 10 points behind to Athena earlier in the campaign, they've got the league's best defence, just 18 conceded in 21 games. Come back to those numbers in a second. Tattersall driving down the right-hand side. Formston trying to use his body, and in the end, Radinovic comes across to help. Just the 37 goals in 18 games, though, so not the most potent attack, but it's been a championship that's really had that defensive hallmark, a league-leading 9 clean sheets in season 2021, including 4 in a row and 6 in their last 8 games when the seasons mattered. And it's a bit of a cliche, but they always say that defence wins you championships, and so it's proven in season 2021. Meanwhile, Tattersall showing good impetus down that right flank again, and his endeavour yields the reward of a corner. Here's O'Connell's corner. It's a dangerous one aimed in, and Cornice rose highest and couldn't keep the header down. Balcatta's best opportunity of the afternoon so far. Sweet, sweet delivery from Callum O'Connell. Whipped into the 6-yard box, and a crowd of Balcatta bodies arrived, and unfortunately for John Cornice, he wasn't able to get that one on target. So midway through this first half here at Dorrien Gardens, round 22 action. Ferrari Cup Day, an Italian derby between Perth Soccer Club and Balcatta FC. Score currently at 0-0. A day where the result bears no real consequence in terms of the shake-up of the standings, but a celebration nonetheless in terms of Balcatta's NPL status and Perth's soon-to-be confirmed 24th NPL WA title. Walsh with the header into touch. Sancic spinning away. Ashili, and now DeLeo returns the ball to Perth's number 18. Lovely football from Perth down this right-hand side. Ashili with the cross into the area. Will Gordon was arriving at the back post. The header was from Marino, and the touch was off the full-back last, and Perth will get a corner. Just in terms of results around the ground, and the key game that we touched on before, in the race for the top four, Perth Glory 3, Inglewood United 0, after 26 minutes there. So Glory looking really good to secure that fourth finals position. Elsewhere, there's goals for Sorrento, for Coburn, and for Floriat. Whitney's ball into the area. Jankulowski heads away. First time is Radinovic. Would have been a collector's item for the central defender. Possibly get away with trying that on the last day of the campaign. Here's Alex Silla. Calvin Whitney. Cross back into the area. Jankulowski's won just about every header so far this afternoon, and there's another win there from the number 5. Player who's been dangerous in both penalty boxes in the past fortnight. Netting in his last 2 weeks from set pieces. Former Perth Soccer Club junior as well, who had spells with Bayswater City and Perth Glory at under 18 and 20 level. Deep free kick from Santic. Last touch off O'Connell, and Perth will get another corner. Beautiful day for football here in WA. Barely a cloud in the sky and no breeze. I was about to say a glorious winter's day, but we have ticked into spring now, of course. Whitney's corner was headed away by Cornice. Santic with the volley. Didn't catch it how he'd like. Medika can watch that one safely wide. So Balcatta have equipped themselves fairly well here in the opening half an hour. They have posed a bit of a threat as well when Amir Ayan and Elliot Tattersall have made their way down the flanks. That's a teasing ball in from Whitney with Mustafa arriving, but Medika was able to claim. And now here is Tattersall, one of those lively players we were speaking of earlier, but that was really good play from Santic to get his body in the way of the ball. Amir Ayan came to help out his winger, and then Radinovic, as he has done basically for all of this season, cleans up at the back for Perth. Stellar season for the former Dianella White Eagles player. Mustafa, Gordon, Marino giving chase. Will Gordon continues his run and then gets fouled by Balcatta's fullback. Great crowd in here at Dorrien Gardens this afternoon. Great to see the Italian community out in full force. Two sides with Italian heritage. A couple of Ferraris parked to the left of us. It's a Mark Ferrari Cup day as well. Santic's low free kick in was cut out by Tapini at the near post and put behind for a corner. In from Santic again, Medika with the two-handed punch. Gloves it away only as far as Domfe. Silla arriving with Scafetta. It worked out okay though. Mustafa will play in Santic, who'll clip in on that left foot. It's aimed in. The header was good. The save was even better from Medika. Radinovic has been a threat forward in the opening half an hour, and he's brought out the best of the young goalkeeper there. Down low to his left. He managed to beat the ball away with conviction. You just sense now that Perth are starting to assert their dominance here, although, just as I say that, Scafetta looks to race away and put Balcatta onto the break. Ends up checking back for Marino. Tattersall's in a little bit of space out wide here on the right. Ball was threaded through for Scafetta, who got there first, and Montgomery had to be off sharply from his line to smother the ball. Michael Johnson's side certainly showing a little bit of spark on the counter. Meanwhile, that's a lovely switch of the play to release Will Gordon, but Marino was alert to the danger and sliding in. Mustafa. Cornice off his chest and then helped around the corner for Tattersall. Now Scafetta. Ayan was offside. Former Sorrento forward not quite able to arc his run sufficiently. player who has had a good second half of the season, Amir Ayan, in his second spell with the club. Former under-20s player. 2 first-team appearances at Grindelford Reserve in 2014. And returned to Australia after a spell in the Austrian lower leagues. 3 goals in his last 4 games and a sealing goal mid-season in a 3-0 win over the Azzurri. Among 5 goals in 2021. Here's Mustafa with his bag of tricks down this left-hand side. Marino was tracking back and poking behind for a corner. This time it's Calvin Whitney on dead ball duties. It's aimed into the edge of the area where Santic is hitting. Balcatta's defence was pressed up quickly enough. Whitney's ball back into the area. Last touch was off Cornice. It was a guided one over the bar though. Shaped in dangerously off the outside of Calvin Whitney's boot. No harm done, but Perth will have another corner. So 0-0 in this Italian derby, 10 minutes before half-time. A few goals going in around the grounds. We'll bring those to you at the start of the second half. Glory were 3-0 up against Inglewood, though, in the key game at the time. Santic has rolled back for Silla. Might break for Mustafa. Instead, it's hacked away by Yankolowski. Back in again from Santic. Away once again from Yankolowski. Cornice will challenge Formston. Balcatta win the throw. The quick throw was looking for the run of Cornice, but Radinovic wearing the skipper's armband, clearing the danger upfield. Ball had crossed the line, much to the disappointment of Will Gordon. Sheely managed to keep that one in play. DeLeo for Silla. Forward by DeLeo again. Domfey wide right. He stood up by his former Perth Glory teammate, Nick Walsh. And then has to retreat back for a Sheely. Whitney spinning around the corner. DeLeo is in the area. Jordan DeLeo striking into the side netting at the near post. Another defender with an eye for goal late in the season. And so far, that right-hand side, the interchanging DeLeo and Silla, giving Balcatta some food for thought. DeLeo, of course, the brother of Tessa, who plays in the NPL1 side for the Azzurri. And the Azzurri women's team are all but sure of their top 4 cup spot in the NPL1 competition. Competition which was won by Murdoch University Melville last night by 2-1 over Northern Redbacks. So big congratulations to them for going back-to-back. Meanwhile, Ayan's corner is aimed in and headed away by Gordon. Jack Leach is first to the drop of the ball. Ayan is still out there. Having put in the initial ball, it's driven in low. It's only as far as Silla. And now Whitney's release was in the direction of no one. Should be said that the Azuris women are down here tomorrow as well at 3 p.m. If you're looking to make the most of the weather on your Sunday afternoon, one of 3 NPL WWA games kicking off at 3 p.m. And if you can't make it to a game tomorrow afternoon, all the games will be on the Football West Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. It's the final round of the men's and the women's competitions here in the West draw to a close. Here's Gordon entering the area. The clip in for Mustafa. The looping header had Medika concerned for a brief moment. But in the end, he was happy to watch it wide of the mark. Cornes. Ayan. Looks as though he switched places with Scafetta for the time being. Balcatta mixing up their movements in the final third. Whitney tried to help that around the corner for Mustafa, who was looking dangerous down the right-hand side. Minutes before the break. Perth 0, Balcatta 0. Still waiting for the opening goal here at Dorrien Gardens. Cornus' ball forward was missed by Formston. It'll reach Scafetta. Radinovic in for the tackle. Scafetta's quick throw for Tattersall. Through the legs of the central defender. A nice manoeuvre. He then tried to help it back to his teammate, and Perth are able to clear the danger. Risky playing out from the back. O'Connell sliding in. Shealy should be able to clear. And it's effective enough to find Silla, who looks up. Tried to pick out the run of Mustafa. Nick Walsh was stepping in. Fullback, who joined Balcatta from the Glory. At the end of May. 13 appearances and a goal. Ball over the top here for Mustafa. Didn't quite manage to stay onside. May have been better off leaving that one for Michael Domfey. Radinovic, dangerous ball across the penalty area. O'Connell was lurking, but DeLeo was able to scramble away. Tapini's long ball forward. Cornus arriving at the fall of the ball and was fouled by Christian Santic. Balcatta get a free kick fairly centrally. Quick to get the ball moving. Jack Leach. Pass, charge down, broke for Ayan. Little skip inside, sliding in DeLeo, won the ball. And now Santic. Ayan was back on his feet and giving chase. Perth managed to play out with real composure though. Cornice. Ayan. Balcatta looking to strike a blow before the break. Radinovic clears. Only as far as Silla. Radinovic's ball was poor for Tattersall, who will look to get this onto his left foot. The strike at goal was skewed off the outside of the boot. And disappointingly wide. So, dying embers of this first half at Dorrien Gardens. A couple more minutes left to play. Still goalless here. Elsewhere, it's Perth Glory 4, Inglewood United 0. 1-0 leads for Coburn over ECU and Florida over Rockingham. And Sorrento are beating Bayswater 3-0 at Frank Drago Reserve. The other game is 0-0 between Gwelup Croatia and Armidale Soccer Club. It's a lovely pass from Sancic wide for Silla. Ball back inboard for Whitney. Misplaced pass was picked up by Scafetta. Ayan's offside here again, I think. He is. Gordon. Yagub Mustafa. Loves to run with the ball, Yagub Mustafa. Jinking his way into the area. Calvin Whitney will have a massive thrash at that one. And Alex Silla can't prevent it from going out for a throw. So we're into first half added time here at Dorrien Gardens. Can Perth strike in the final minute here? Calvin Whitney. Yagub Mustafa. Gordon overlapping from fullback. The clip into the area was over Medika's crossbar, and that draws to a close the end of the first 45 minutes of action here at Dorrien Gardens. It's not been the most sparkling of celebratory occasions thus far. Neither team yet to break through, but there have been chances at both ends. Calvin Whitney's volley went wide of the post early doors, and then Jaden Gorman's curler was saved by Medika. And Boyan Radinovic also forced the young goalkeeper in a good save as well. Balcatta's closest effort came when Callum O'Connell's corner was headed over the bar by John Cornice. But as it stands, it's still goalless here at Dorrien Gardens. Perth 0, Balcatta 0. Welcome back to Dorrien Gardens for the second half of this round 22 men's NPL WA clash between Perth Soccer Club and Balcatta FC. Goalless between these two sides at the break. Both keepers, both chances at both ends. My apologies in that opening 45 minutes, but deadlock yet to be broken as Perth get us underway. For the start of this second period, no changes for either side at the interval. Jaden Gorman went off with what looked like a hamstring injury in the first half and was replaced by Alex Silla. If you're late to the broadcast with us this afternoon on the Football West YouTube channel and on the Facebook page, Tommy Dolman with you on the call. Uzuri probably with the better chances, and Sebastian Medica was a little busier than Ryan Montgomery in truth, but visitors have certainly showed a little bit of spark when they have managed to launch onto the counter-attack. Here's one of the players who's been a key protagonist in that lively front line for Balcatta. It was Amir Ayan who was looking to drift in behind Perth's defence, but the last touch was off the Balcatta forward as he tried to help it towards goal, and Perth will get us restarted with a goal kick. Tapini clears into touch. Gordon throws forward for Mustafa. Back for Santic. Tries to dribble his way in between two players. Ball breaks for Mustafa. Deflected. Back towards the Shilly, who's got Gordon in a bit of space. Ball aimed in at the back post. It's looking for the arriving Silla. But it was comfortably watched wide by Medica in behind for a goal kick. Whilst we wait for the restart, we'll bring you some results from around the grounds. Bayswater 0, Sorrento 3, Coburn 1, ECU 0, Floriat 1, Rockingham 0, Gwelup 0, Armidale 0, and Glory 4, Inglewood 0. And that means that Glory are all but secure of the final top 4 position in season 2021. Looking very likely that they're going to finish in 4th spot and playing a first week elimination final at this stage against Sorrento. Of course, Florida beating Rockingham by a goal to 0 at the moment, but if they do drop points against the league's bottom side, then that race suddenly becomes interesting in terms of who earns that double chance next weekend. Corner for Balcatta, taken short for Tattersall. Ayan swinging that in on the right boot. It's volleyed away by Santic. It's kept in by Formston on the far side. The ball inside from Mustafa's a good one. It's helped around the corner for Whitney. Took a slight touch, and that allowed Yankolowski to get back and thwart any danger. Silla up the line. Whitney, lovely turn from Calvin Whitney. And then he tries to bite off a piece of flair again, and that time Leach was able to stick to the task, and then Santic was fouled by a combination of Scafetta and a retreating Leach. Gordon. Forward for Whitney, who drives in at that near post, and I think Medica had that covered. In any case, so it's a ground that Balcatta haven't had much joy at over the years, particularly in the NPL WA era. 6 wins for Perth, no draws, and just the 1 triumph for Balcatta back in 2018 at Dorrien Gardens in the league. That was 6 fixtures ago, and they've, as we said before, lost every other time that they've come to this ground. As we said earlier, though, they did win the last meeting between the pair back in round 11 this year. And perhaps more impressively, in those 7 home games at Dorrien Gardens in the NPL WA era, Perth have kept clean sheets in 5 of those matches. To the extent where Balcatta are without a goal here since that 2019 success where they won by a goal to nil. Perhaps they can get one here as Ayan breaks in behind Perth's defence. He's all on his own though for the moment, and in the end he did well to win the corner despite Tattersall trying to make grounds late in the piece. O'Connell over the corner. It's whipped in at the near post. It's helped on by Ayan. It's hacked away up in the air by Domfey. And now Whitney will try to launch Perth onto the break. There's 2 ahead of him. One of them's Mustafa, who's got a bit of ground to run into here. Santich looking to come forward in support. So too Silla. And then the momentum of the break has been negated by some committed defence by Balcatta, who got back quickly. Ashili with a cool turn away from an approaching Ayan. Gordon. Ball forward should be cut off by Marino, who lets that run out for a throw. Player who was once part of Perth Glory's youth setup, Joe Marino. Virtually ever present over the past few seasons, but just 10 appearances this year. Formston forward. Silla couldn't bring it under control. Tattersall will look to release Ayan, who should get to this first ahead of Radinovic. Tricky opposite number to get beyond, though. Walsh was swarmed by 3 Perth bodies, and now Radinovic will launch the counter-attack the other way. Ball was won the 50-50 by Whitney over Marino. It's Calvin Whitney. The strike at goal was deflected, and that took the heat off the shot and made it easy for Medica to gather. Said it before in the first half, but a brilliant crowd here for the Italian derby between these two sides. Plenty of Perth people looking to, no doubt, watch their team lift the trophy later on. Balcatta celebrating their survival. Although Mustafa will look to make it even better for Perth. A save from Medica. It hit the post in the end and went behind for a corner. Got to say, that's a really smart reaction stop from the young shot stopper. He's certainly been the busier of the two goalkeepers, and thus far he's stood tall. Holding 2 arms aloft now, trying to align his defence. Santich's ball in, it's hooked in deep. It's maybe a little too far for Radinovic, who almost made it work. Task was slightly too difficult though. Mustafa stood up by 2 Balcatta defenders. Mustafa does really well to get past the pair of them. Inside, the strike on the left foot, and Medica once again. A tower of strength in between the posts for Balcatta this afternoon. making his mark on the final day of the season and taking the opportunity with both hands. More than one sense of the word. Santich's ball to the back post. It's over the head of a Shealy. Little tangle of legs between O'Connell and the Perth midfielder, but nothing serious in that. Ayan's little help around the corner hit the head of Formston and went over the sponsors into the car park over there. O'Connell's pass over the head of Cornice. Silla's pass up the line won't find Mustafa. Balcatta looking set to bring on their first substitute of the afternoon very shortly. It's looking like Henry Durr's getting some final words from Balcatta's coaching staff. Formston, lovely little ball inside for Whitney, who surges towards goal, tries to play through Domfey, pass didn't have enough power on it, and now the release from the back from Yankolowski will try and pick out Scafetta, but too much power on that one. Domfey, Mustafa, Santich. Switch of the play is a good one for Gordon, who's got plenty of space out on the left. Pass on for Whitney. O'Connell. Whitney's crossing again. Race between Tattersall and Mustafa at the back post. It's the latter who has the ball at his feet. Little shimmy inside and out, still going Mustafa. Links up with Whitney, the back heel was cut off by Leach. And Balcatta clear upfield and try and push bodies out of the defence. Perth looking to build a head of steam here at Dorrien Gardens. The hosts frustrated thus far by a resolute Balcatta side who came into this game 4 matches unbeaten, of course. And just the one away win this season, it came in that 4-game run away at Rockingham when they needed it the most. You wouldn't know it based on the defensive solidity and the performance they've put in thus far. Perth looking to make them pay. Santich's shot deflected, gathered. Half spilled by the goalkeeper, but comfortably gathered in the end. Balcatta turning to the bench for the first time this afternoon then, and it's going to be Henry Durr who comes on. And he'll replace the lively Elliot Tattersall. Durr, a former player of ECU Joondalup and Perth Glory. It's the 10 appearances in 2021. Yet to score this campaign. In fact, his last goal was back in round 7 last year against Sorrento. He looks as though he's going to slot into the central of midfield at this stage. That may allow either John Cornice or Michael Scafetta to push a little further forward. Formston. Radinovic, Formston again. Will Gordon. Gordon, Whitney, spinning away. Wants to get onto that right foot. He'll help back for Gordon instead. Cross took a touch on its way through, and that ran safely to the goalkeeper. Radinovic fouled there by a yarn. Stuart Beattie wants a word with the former Sorrento forward. Perhaps just informing him that would be his final warning. The next one he might just go into the book. Santic's deep free kick, meanwhile. Goalkeeper had to stick out a glove in the end, deceived by the flight of the ball. It may well have been creeping into that top corner, but Medika wasn't to know that and took the safety first approach instead. Whitney's ball in. DeLeo arriving at the near post. Domfe stuck out a leg and behind it goes. Well, that could have ended up anywhere in the end. It was DeLeo and Ashili, I think, who were both right in the mixer. Domfe tried to divert to goal and in the end it drifts over the byline. Cornes, Marino, touch forward for Ayan. In fact, it's Scafetta, my apologies, and Radinovic fouls Balcatta youngster. Former Coburn junior Michael Scafetta, player who's earned his chance at senior level and certainly taken it. Key goals in recent weeks against Rockingham and the Glory late in the season. Player I'm sure we'll see a little bit more of next season in the NPL WA. Meanwhile, O'Connell with the resulting free kick. Nobody was at the back post and Montgomery can safely watch that one. Sliding in was Durr. Good challenge. Walsh. Cornice up the line. DeLeo intercepting. Now Santic. Pass into the feet of Mustafa. Loves to run with the ball. Instead he passes on this occasion. Santic tried a little manoeuvre on Balcatta's defence and wasn't able to succeed, and now Cornice will try to lead the counter-attack. Perth have got plenty of bodies back, so it's going to be a hard fight, but Ayan sticks to the task. Cornice continued his run. Ashili working his way back from midfield, and So Perth can make another double substitution. It'll be Kieran Colwell and Nick McDonald who enter the field. And they come on in place of Yagub Mustafa and Will Gordon. Just been made aware that have had some technical difficulties in the last few minutes or so, so apologies for any inconvenience there. I can tell you that it's still Perth 0, Balcatta 0. As we enter the final 10 minutes of this game here at Dorrien Gardens. A frustrating one for the champions thus far. Whilst for Balcatta, it's yet another showing of encouragement, perhaps going into next season. 10 minutes away from extending their unbeaten run to 5 matches at the back end of this campaign. And now there'll be some minutes for David Cyrus and also for Nicholas Messina. Both players formerly of Perth. Messina joined Balcatta at the start of 2021. Cyrus skippered the Inglewood side, which lost to the Azuri in the Top 4 Cup in 2019. Had a period here at Dorrien Gardens in 2016. Cyrus looks as though he's playing up front. Regular defender. Whitney's ball in is aimed in. Santic is arriving. The drive at goal. It went past both Bird and Silla. And I think the flag may have gone up in any case had one of the two got a boot on the ball. But once again, Perth close but no cigar. Ball forward, aimed in at Cyrus. The guided header. Not kept in by Falcone. Bird. Sella. Still we wait for the breakthrough goal. Formston up the line, wide of Colwell. Seconds ticking down for the Azuri to find win number 15 and for Balcatta to find win number 5 of the campaign. Bird. Pass into the feet of Santic. Silla continued his run from right back. Strong challenge from Jack and Leach. Brother of Charlie, who plays for the Glory NPL side. McDonald. Switch of the play looks pretty good. It is. It finds Colwell, who tries to find Domfey with a reverse pass, but it's away from the leading scorer of Perth once again. 10 goals this campaign for Michael Domfey, former Golden Boot winner, of course. Hasn't really had a notable chance this afternoon, though. It's been a pretty frustrating afternoon for the home fans. Bird. Silla Santich, last touch off Balcatta. Edging towards the final 5 minutes. McDonald with the clearance into Leach. Ball breaks Balcatta's way. Corness looks up. Leach. Perich. Challenge from Formston. Was a little late. Stuart Beattie said there was no advantage, and Balcatta up for the free kick on halfway. The quick release is looking for Corness, who's ghosted in behind here. It's John Corness. It's good defending from Lockie Bird. It's still here for Falcone over on that far side, but nothing doing. In fact, it was Messina, my apologies. And actually, the ball had gone out of play and behind for a Balcatta corner, so a little bit of confusion there on my part. Apologies. What we do know is it is a Balcatta set piece. Ball is aimed in, arriving with Cyrus. A gilt-edged chance for Balcatta to steal it at the death, as Cyrus arrived and planted his head wide of the post. Would have been a dream end to the season, all right. Ashili, ball played wide. McDonald. Colwell, McDonald forward. Domfey looking to capitalise on an error at the back. He can't do so. And then McDonald helps back forward again. Colwell will give chase. The header from Jankulowski. Messina with a nice piece of skill to evade Perth's number 6. And then the pass inside for Corness, who switches the play for Cyrus. The old and the young in that battle. Cyrus inboard to Falcone. Ball's here for Corness, who wants his right foot. Perich was over on the far side. Corness checks back instead. Still looking for an option. Balcatta's number 10, Leach. Now the skidding ball out wide for Perich. The cross into the area. Henry Durr gets there first, and then Falcone over the bar. Two big Balcatta chances laid on. And Perth survive on a couple of occasions. Ashili, Whitney. Ashili again. Balcatta still showing an appetite to win this game here. Formston into the feet of Ashili. Whitney. Silla. Domfey continued his run. Last touch off to Peeney. Corner Perth. just about set to tick into second half stoppage time. Perth 0, Balcatta 0. The day's only goalless game so far. Perth looking ahead to a tie with Floreat next week in the major semi-final. They'll look to want to win to take some momentum in it still. Stuart Beattie picks out a foul though and ensures that a winner won't happen for the moment. Cyrus helps it on. Radinovic will watch that out for a goal kick. Colwell. Ashili. Back for Formston. Ball lofted forward. Tom Fay giving chase to the back post. Tapini comes away with the ball. Ball forward from Lockie Bird. Sancic is at the drop. Goes to ground. Referee said the ball was won. Cornice and Sancic still both on the ground. Meanwhile, play does continue, albeit only temporarily, as Perich puts out. Both players seek a little bit of medical attention here. Looked like an awkward tangle of legs between the pair. Hopefully nothing too serious. It would be a real shame if either of these players picked up an injury this late into the season. Both players back on their feet now. Sancic looks to be limping off a little gingerly, but looks like all is well for the time being. Whitney will throw back to Balcatta, who put the ball out, and then Stuart Beattie will wave both players back on. Can either team find a late winner here? Very much in the dying stages now at Dorrien Gardens. Is there a final twist in the tail? The ball forward from Colwell is into the feet of Whitney. Three players arrive for Perth. Colwell's left-footed ball in. McDonald was arriving. The header was clear from Yankolowski. Cyrus will then lay off for Falcone. Perich. Cyrus stepping in was Formston. Colwell forward again. Cleared away once more by Tapini. And Stuart Beattie draws the afternoon's action to a close. A bit of a flat way to end the season for both of these teams in the form of a goalless draw here at Dorrien Gardens. But Perth are champions. We knew that already last week, of course, after their win at Rockingham. Meanwhile, it's an encouraging point for Balcatta, who extend their unbeaten run to 5 at the end of the campaign, and Michael Johnson's side can take plenty of encouragement going into next season. Both he and Ramon Falzone embrace on the touchline. The players also congratulating each other and shaking hands at the end of what's been a long and arduous season, particularly in those middle months of the campaign. We did have a rough winter here in the West. And in terms of the wider picture, we've just been very lucky to have a full season getaway here. Of course, our thoughts are with people in New South Wales and in Victoria. Shout out to you all, and we hope you're all okay and staying safe. Perth's players out on the pitch. I can see Gustavo Cataccioni and Nicolo Sabatini on the pitch as well, two of Perth's injured players. All part of the squad, of course, and part of the team and the group which have won league title number 24. Good to see the Balcatta players also staying out on the pitch. Really classy touch at the start of the game with that guard of honour for the Azzurri. So it's been an incredible league season for Roman Falzone and his Chargers. A 10-point deficit at the midway point of the season made up. A revival for the ages after an undefeated second half of the campaign. And now their crowning moment arrives. Their coronation about to be complete. And league title number 24 imminently rubber stamped. It's been a strange old week at Dorrien Gardens, but for the fourth time in 6 years, the NPL WA trophy is lifted by the sky blue of the Azzurri. Perth Soccer Club, champions in 2021. So the players pose for a celebratory photo. The supporters around us give Perth players a generous round of applause, and wonderful to see plenty of juniors out there enjoying the moment as well. No doubt the next generation of Azzurri footballers out on the pitch. That'll just about do us for now here at Dorrien Gardens, though. Don't forget NPL WA women's football still to play out tomorrow afternoon. 3 games across the Football West YouTube channel and on the Facebook page. And then we've got top 4 cup action. It'll be Perth, Floreat, Sorrento and Perth Glory who take part in that. But for now, from us at Dorrien Gardens, from myself, Tommy Dolman, and From the rest of the crew here, it's good night. Perth Glory, NPL WA champions in 2021.